Hey, this is Notser, and today we're taking a look at the 0.8.0 Postponement announcement. This is in regards to the patch that is introducing the CV rework. Initially, it was planned for January 23rd and January 24th. Well, guess what? It's not January 23rd and 24th any longer. It's being delayed by 1 week. It's going to be January 30th and 31st. 30th for North America, 31st for everyone else. It's 1 week, and honestly, it's definitely necessary because we're not there yet, and we need to be much closer if the carrier gameplay is going to be received warmly. It just has to be. It has to be better, and I'm glad they're at least giving a week. Now, does this mean that there's going to be another week delay? I honestly can't say. But from this standpoint, I think they want to test these initial planned improvements and to see if they make a noticeable change to the gameplay. So one of the planned improvements that isn't in the game but will be in the game before launch, they're going to add an addition of more visual effects for AA Fire when the defensive AA Fire consumable is activated. Currently, I believe the flak changes color to red versus its sort of black, orangey, standard colors. They're obviously going to enhance this further, so it's more visually obvious that defensive AA is going off, both for the aircraft carrier and for the cruiser or destroyer that happens to have defensive AA equipped. This is good, this is great. More information that is easily obtained is always good for the game because it allows the skill to be more impactful. If it is more obvious that it's going off, well, then it can be more destructive towards the aircraft, and we need defensive AA to be very effective, considering how unlimited, how powerful the carriers feel. Creation of a visual priority AA sector. This is going to show where AA Fire is concentrated. Now, I don't know what exactly this means visually, but I'm going to assume that the priority AA sector is something that is going to be easily recognizable for the aircraft carrier. That way, the AA sector is more punishing, but it's also more rewarding for the cruisers or the battleships or the destroyers that are in use of it. This is great. This is honestly what I felt like they needed to do. They needed to provide some sort of visual example that the sector that you're currently flying in or flying to is under the priority effect. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm glad they're adding it, and hopefully this will allow more depth in the sector system. Removal of the patrol zone of fighters for destroyers, cruisers, and battleships from the minimap, as this information is of little use and can confuse and pollute the minimap. So this is related to the green and the red sort of overlaid circles that show up on the minimap right now. You might have seen it in some of my examples, AA and otherwise. This is just indicating where the fighters are patrolling. And it sounds like they're taking away that completely. Now, I feel like the player should have the choice on whether this is displayed to them or not. It's incredibly important information because you need to try and use this to fight off the incoming enemy aircraft. And if I don't know exactly where this sector is, I'm sort of not bringing the fighters or the dive bomber or the enemy torpedo bombers into an area where they can actually be fended off. So I understand that this is, incredibly confusing and polluting of the minimap, but on the other end, a skillful player can take that information and use it. And I don't think you should ever take that away completely. Now, it has to be available to everyone or nobody. And they do say that the fighters will still be displayed in the 3D game space. Just that little minimap indicator will not. I don't know if that's enough, but I'll have to see. Changing the mechanics of the priority sector. Now it will not increase the number of explosions, but the constant average damage per minute. Honestly, this is what I thought it was already doing. It wasn't doing this, it was just increasing the number of explosions. What good are the number of explosions if they're easily avoidable by the player? I know people like to laugh at that comment from me, but it feels very easy to maneuver around flak. I don't know if, 7, 8, 9, or 10 ships will obviously remove that chance, but in a 1v1, I don't have any problem mitigating any strategy that is employed by the ship that I'm attacking and easily attacking them. I mean, DDs, it's a joke. They barely put any flak up. Cruisers and battleships, they definitely have a much more significant flak burst in the sky, but it's placed in the path, and as long as you're not going towards that path, when the flak is placed, it's easily dodged. I'm hoping that the increase in constant average damage will actually have, the continuous damage be noticeable, and the aircraft carrier themselves actually have to break off attacks more frequently because they're under a much, much tougher defense. Since 7.12 is going to exist for an extra week, we will be able to fight in clan battles for an extra week, which is nice. We'll be able to continue to knock off snowflakes if we're one of the people that still have snowflakes. I have like 1 million of them. There's no way I'll be able to get all of them, but it's nice that we get an extra week. We can complete the event in the name of His Highness. These directives are for the Tier 6 Prince Idol Friedrich. It's nice that it'll still be available. Honestly, the credit grind was a little ridiculous anyway. Participate in the Mighty Prince campaign. This is the campaign that gives you a chance to earn 5 researchable Tier 6 ships with permanent New Year-inspired camouflage for them. This campaign is honestly outstanding for players that are trying to benefit from all 5 being researched. That's credit, that's extra progress in those lines that maybe you didn't. Mighty Prince is great. One thing of note, the combat mission Nerves of Steel will expire as initially planned, and that planned date was January 25th. Please make sure that you complete this campaign before January 25th if you intend to. This will not be extended an extra week. Nerves of Steel will not be extended an extra week. But other than that, that seems like all I want to share with us today. I'm very interested in all of the different adjustments they're going to make. They're good. Defensive Fire reading more like Defensive Fire makes it have more impact because the carrier shouldn't have an excuse for not knowing it's going off. Same with the priority AA sector. If they can demonstrate that the AA is improved, once again, this is a read for the carrier player, so he should be able to recognize which ships are vulnerable and which are not. Because of that, the sector should be more punishing. I'm hoping for all of these in these examples, and that's where I believe they're trying to go. We'll have to see, though. Obviously, this will be up for testing. Don't know when this version will be available. I'm going to assume that maybe later this week or early next week, we'll get a short Phase 3. At that point, I'll make video content on it, discuss my feelings, and see if that is the final version that we're getting before the live version. I hope this is helpful information. I'm sorry that this has been such a painful experience for some of you. I know that the CV is your baby, or you hate CVs with a passion, and you have no interest in this information, but it's still good information to discuss, especially the knowledge that the patch is just going to be delayed a week. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Share in the comments your thoughts on the planned improvements and also the the extra week we're going to get. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.